Hello and welcome. This is Nicholas D. Costella from the Institute of Heart Intelligence, and tonight we're talking about the Thrive Breathwork Life Coaching Program. This is an introduction to a year-long life-transforming program that can set you up for a wonderful career, one that I've been pursuing now for 20. Last year was my 25th year working full-time as a breathwork practitioner and expanding out into running workshops around the world. And I've created a fabulous life for myself, for my wife, and for our two boys. We live up here in the Dandenongs, and I'll get to that in a second. But I'm really happy to have you with us tonight, so thank you for joining us. I've got plenty to go through as normal, and we'll have some time for questions as we go. If you've got a question, just put it in the chat box, and maybe we'll have some questions at the end. And I'd like to start off with doing just a simple breathing meditation. I just love connecting in my heart and sharing with people how to connect in their heart. And the breath is a real catalyst for connecting. The breath joins together the physical, the mental, the emotional, and our spiritual dimension. So let's just take a moment to connect. And I'd like to invite you to just let your eyes close gently. Turn your attention to your breath. At this point in time, there's no need to change your breathing. Just simply become aware of the breath. The breath is such a beautiful, magical dimension to our experience here on life on earth. Just consider for a moment what a miracle the breath is. It's your lifeline to this planet, to this experience in this moment. When we stop breathing, we're basically no longer here. And ever since you were born, you've been breathing, awake and asleep, conscious of your breath and unconscious of your breath. The breath, like waves on the ocean, continuously flowing in and out, day and night, year in, year out. And the breath is such a beautiful key to opening our heart and to connecting. Many of us have had our breathing pattern distorted through stress and trauma in our life. We tend to hold the breath, tend to hold a lot of trauma in our chest that locks the breath up. And sometimes we're gasping at our breath. But right now, I'd like to invite you just to bring your awareness to your breath and allow your breath to be here as it is. You don't need to deepen your breath right now. No need to change the cycle. Just be aware of the breath. Be aware of that natural impulse to draw the breath in at the end of the exhale. And feel that sense of expansion as you're breathing in. And then there comes a point when there's a natural release on the breath and you breathe out. The breath is a beautiful anchor to the present moment. Brings us into the here and now And it brings us into our feeling self and out of our busy mind thinking self. Just simply focusing on the breath, tuning into it, feeling the muscles in your body that move as you're breathing. And as you breathe, you probably start to notice, first of all, the thoughts, the busyness of your mind, and the distraction that takes you away from focusing on the breath. When you notice that happens, which it happens for all of us, there's no need to punish yourself. Just gently bring yourself back to your breath again. Breathing in and out. As you follow the breath like this, you probably start to become aware of the rest of your body, the sensations. Some parts of your body might be aching or warm, tight, heavy. And if you just keep the breath flowing and maintain this neutral, curious mindset, you might start to feel some emotion. You might be aware of the emotion that's present. Maybe you're feeling happy, or some sadness could be present. Chances are you're feeling excited or even nervous about being here tonight, possibly a new opportunity opening up for you to go in a new direction and get some fresh input. Maybe you're feeling enthusiastic or even frustrated. Maybe you've had a bit of a challenge today and you feel a bit of frustration. And just encourage you just to keep breathing, allowing yourself to feel whatever's here. Maybe you're feeling peaceful or calm, or maybe kind of quiet. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and letting go. And because we're heart-centered in our approach, we bring the breath to the heart. And just breathing gently down to your belly and up to your heart. Just touching into your heart on the inhale. As you breathe in, filling up from your belly up to your heart. Feeling into that tender heart. And acknowledging any feelings that are present there. In our heart, we're all connected. All humanity, everything on the planet, connected through our heart. Feeling the breath flowing gently. Tuning into your heart. And just notice what's present there when you listen to your heart. Maybe there's a word, a heart quality, peace, love, gratitude, connection, presence, spaciousness or openness, grace, being blessed by life, flow, mystery, inspiration. Just breathing into your heart. If you can find a word that you want to cultivate in this moment, a positive quality, would like to cultivate. This can come from your heart. Acceptance, gentleness, compassion, kindness. And just breathing into that word and bring that word into your heart. Feeling how nice that is, how simple it is, and how the breath carries us all the way to a deep place of connection. Nice deep breath. Breathing in down to your belly and up to your chest. Bringing yourself back slowly. No hurry. Just relax. Breathing into your belly and up to your chest. Expanding. Letting go. When you're ready, you can let your eyes open. Great. How about you just type in there in the chat box the word that came to you during that short heart centering. Peace, courage, frustration, and compassion. Fantastic. Gratitude. Is that Dan or Louise there? It says Dan. It's Lou. Lovely to have you with us. Would have been lovely for Dan too, but nice to know who I'm talking to. Kelly's got joy. Beautiful. Awesome. Fantastic. So just a simple meditation, few minutes, and we're cultivating such a beautiful state. And the breath is, it's kind of easy to miss because we do it all the time, we take it for granted, but it's such a powerful thing to connect with. And as I said before, for the last 25 years, I've been using the breath to help people and guiding the breath to help people to open their hearts and come alive and let go of past emotional pain so that they can live more in the present moment with more inner peace and joy and move forward. So here we are on the preview call, and I'm going to jump right in here. The slide to move. There we go. So a bit of an introduction here tonight. I think that what we're going to be talking about is part of a global revolution that's happening on the planet. And I believe that a lot of the problems that we're seeing on the planet and in our culture are actually birthing pains for a new humanity that's evolving. And this new humanity is connected through our heart to each other, to the world, to ourselves. And the breath is the catalyst for that connection to happen most powerfully. There is nothing that's as heart opening in a healing modality as the breath work. And so I want to start off by just having the broadest picture and just to share that the world desperately needs breath workers to help people to clear the blocks that have stopped them from being present and connected with an open heart so that we can really evolve to the next level of consciousness and connection and global community. As I said, I'm living a very, very blessed life, and this is my beautiful wife Susan at a restaurant just up the hill from us here. We live up in the Dandenong rainforest, and we have a beautiful, loving relationship. We've been together for nigh on 20 years now. I'm in the Stack Club, which is the second time around club. Got married fairly young, 24, and was together with my first partner for 18 years. And so Susan's pretty chuffed because we just kept that last year. And we've got two wonderful boys, Charlie and Alexander, and they're growing up to be fine young men. Charlie's 15 now. This is a little older photo. Charlie's topping me in the height competition, and so really blossoming into lovely boys. This is a picture that I took just recently in the morning at our property. I was walking up the hill and the sun just popped its head up over the mountains, and there was a mist in the air, and boom, here's this beautiful, just just glorious space. So I ran up the hill and grabbed my camera and ran back down and took these photos. This is down near the creek that runs through our property. We live in a very lush part of the forest here. It's in the rainforest with lots of fern trees. It's very, very beautiful, and we're on 7 acres with our retreat centre where we have our workshops, and I still just wander around here just marveling at how I ended up living here. We've been here for 10 years now. And I spend a lot of my time working in sessions and teaching and presenting. This was at an Australasian Integrative Medical Association national conference. I was a keynote speaker there a few years ago, so getting the message out in a big way is part of my mission. These are some of the people that have joined us in the breathwork training over the last 15 years. Some of the exercises that we do, we have a lot of fun. We do breathwork in the warm pool there, which triggers kind of like birth memories. And we have our formal dress night. At the end of the breathwork training, we have a lovely, lovely time. This is a 1-year journey. People really get to know each other really well, and the level of honesty and trust and support and love for each other is just something else. And obviously friendships are formed in that last a lifetime. But I just feel so blessed to be surrounded by open-hearted people that want to really love and give their gifts to the world. We actually don't do this anymore. This is called the leap of faith. But it was a lot of fun and makes for great photos. We do a ropes course, but it has multi-levels, and it's a little bit, just a little less challenging this. But I put this in here because, if you're thinking about coming and joining us this year, it is a leap of faith, and it does involve standing on top of that little box and jumping for the bars. And I've done this a few times myself, and I remember one of the first times that I did this, I was standing on top of the box. It's about, I can't remember if it's 5 or 10 meters above the ground. It's a long way up, and the bar just looked infinitely far away. And in my head, there was this voice that was shouting at me, "You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it." And it's just, I just couldn't believe how present that voice was, and it was shouting at me. Obviously that's a voice that often gets in the way of us taking that leap of faith and believing in ourselves and stepping up and stepping out and living the life that we're meant to live. So this is more what we do now. There's a tree adventure place, and he's ride on the Flying Fox, which is a hell of a lot of fun. All double strapped on there. You'll see two lines, so totally, absolutely safe, but high enough to scare you anyway. It's the Fear Mastery weekend there. And here we are doing an honouring ceremony in the breathwork training. Two lovely ladies honouring each other as the real spirit that carries through the training. we have a lot of fun. There's a fancy dress night that we do. Might get some ideas out of this. Yeah, you can see that we all take ourselves very seriously here, and we have a lot of fun. And then we finish up on the last day at dawn at the beach, and we do a breathwork session down at the beach, and it's a very, very beautiful experience. And it almost always has spectacular sunrises. We just managed to book them all. The energy that we're carrying creates them. I'm not sure which it is, but yeah, really, really magical experience that we have in the training. And so, this breathwork practitioner training, and this is for you if maybe you're successful, but you've got this sense that there's still something missing. So you might have, achieved some of your life goals and set yourself up well, but in your heart, you know that there's something more. There's something that you want to go and maybe be of service to people and to help other people to grow. Maybe you're a life coach or a healer or a practitioner or somebody in service of others, and you'd like to add another modality to your skill set, another arrow to your quiver, so to speak. So we have a lot of life coaches particularly come and do the breathwork training, and it really gives them amazing skills to be able to facilitate people's emotional blocks, to process them through those so they can keep on moving forward in their life. Perhaps you're like, your job feels empty or meaningless, and, it's just full of stress and pressure, and you're looking for something else to do. And, I transitioned out of working as an architect into doing breathwork 25 years ago now. Or maybe you just kind of got a general sense of loss or lacking passion and looking for something to open you up and inspire you. Doing something that changes people's lives is the key, I think, to finding real fulfillment. Something that really makes a difference in people's lives and on the planet. And I've been doing, as I said, one-on-one breathwork sessions since 1991, and every day I feel blessed. When I sit down with somebody and we're going through the breathwork session, I feel so honored and blessed, and I'm totally into it. I'm just totally riveted and fascinated and part of the process. After 25 years, it's still just beautiful and magical as it was when I first started. So tonight, what we're going to do is explore some of the insider secrets of my journey. So I might not have told everybody everything that I've been through, and tonight I want to talk a bit about what's my personal growth journey. What did that look like? How did I get to be here? Have you got what it takes to be a breath worker? I'm going to talk about some of the qualities that are essential qualities that you need. And then opportunity for growth. I'm going to talk about what the journey is that we go on, an opportunity to create a fulfilling career and a great life, and the 5 steps then to working as a breathwork coach, and then if you like this, where do you go to from here? So tonight, I'm not asking anybody to register for the breathwork training. At the end of the session, I'll be asking you if you're interested to go further and find out more, and to fill out an application form and to send that in to me, and then you and I will get together and we'll have a chat and see what your next best step is in a clarity session. But even though I live a very blessed life now, it hasn't always been easy. And in 1985, I was in this car when it was heading from Canberra down to the coast at night time. We hit a truck. I was in the front passenger seat, just over here, and ended up with 135 stitches in my head. I'm still lucky to have my head connected to the rest of me, and it was quite a shock, and pretty much pivoted, my world at that time, and I started to suffer from anxiety after that, and that led into chronic fatigue. I was training at the Australian Institute of Sport at the time, and that was a fairly pressured kind of a place. And being a highly sensitive person like I am, I didn't really have the skills to cope with that back there in those days, and I just ran myself into the ground. And I trained for 8 years to work as an architect, and lost my passion for it. It just dwindled out, and it was actually parallel to my personal growth journey. As I started to work with other people, helping them to grow, felt less and less fulfilled working as an architect. And eventually I couldn't keep going, and changed offices to try to find a better office to work in, and then actually ended up getting the sack, which was a real shock to me because I've always been a good boy, done the right thing. But that was my wake-up call. That was my Mack truck, really. And that made me stop and look at what I was doing and what I really wanted to do with my life. And I was so far into personal growth at that point, I realized that that's where my passion really was. And I wanted to surround myself with that. And most of all, I wanted to help other people along the journey for that. And so I started to work as an architect after that. So, with back in Canberra with chronic fatigue, I did the rounds of doctors, health professionals, healers, psychics, all of that jazz, and didn't really find an answer until in 1988. I went to my first personal growth workshop, and I realized that it's an inside-out world, that I needed to shift my attention from working harder in the outer world and instead pay attention to cultivating my inner state. So I learned to meditate. I learned to harness my inner powers. I learned metaphysics, the metaphysics of creation, of manifesting things in my life. I learned how to connect to the love inside my heart. I learned how to heal my body, and I learned how to set and achieve goals. Okay, so at that time, I started to find out who I really was. I started off at university, very philosophical, very in my head when I did architecture. And as I started to wake up, I got more and more present and connected to who Nicholas really was and what was going to make him happy. So as I said, my first workshop was in 88. In 89, almost immediately, I started to assist other people by taking follow-on classes in the workshops, which were now run in Melbourne. I moved back to Melbourne from Canberra and organised with the guy to come down to Melbourne and run the same workshop that I'd done that made such a big difference in my life. And then I went on and started running the follow-on classes for his workshop. And that's how I got involved in personal growth at a facilitator level. In 91, then I did my breathwork practitioner training with James and Cheryl Selman from America. They happened to be living here at that time. And that just tenfold deepened my heart opening and deepened my connection to who I was. Around that time, I quit architecture and I started working in my terrace house as a rebirther. Now, my family thought that I would gone nuts, letting go of an architectural career to go and do this rebirthing thing. And my mum started going to church more often. So it was a pretty tumultuous time, but my heart was really connected to it, and I knew that I was on track. I got invited in 94 to go and work in Canada for 2 weeks with the community over there. I worked with the Board of Trustees, and they had trustees in communities all around the world. And that led the following year to a 6-month world breathwork tour where I ran a 1-month workshop in Colorado, and I went all around the world, across America to France, to South Africa, to England. We went a big trip around the world. It was a fantastic thing. When I got back from that, that was the first time that I ran Passionately Alive in 96. I had set up a group and they were going okay, but when I was away, it kind of fell apart a bit, and I realized people needed the skills to work with their emotions and they didn't have them. So I put all the skill training into Passionately Alive. and that was in 96. In 99, then people started asking me, Nicholas, would you teach us to do this breathwork thing? So started the first breathwork training in our terrace house. We had 18 people in that training. People were doing breathwork in the kitchen, in the hallway, jamming everybody in. It was very, very exciting, lots of fun. In 2000, Susan and I, and this is a nice old photo from around that time, we bought the healing center in Clifton Hill that we have down there. 2004, I gave that keynote presentation at AMA. So that's like getting out into the mainstream. And I think breathwork really is about to come of age in the world, in our community. It's got such an important place for healing emotional trauma that nothing else does. And the medical profession doesn't really have an answer to depression. And, depression rates are just spiraling out of control. And the real issue is that people are not working with emotional healing. 2006, we bought Hazeldale Retreat Center where we are now, and we've been up here happily working away and running our workshops ever since. So that's in a nutshell how I got to be here. So have you got what it takes? What are the qualities of a great breathwork practitioner? Okay, so the first one is, are you a caring person who likes to help others? Now, I can't say this any other way, but some people just they're empathetic, nurturing, sensitive, caring people who just want to be there for others. And often they're the kind of people who are the rocks, the solid ones, even though they are emotionally sensitive. And being emotionally sensitive in an emotionally shame-based world is a very difficult thing to be, which I am, but it's actually a gift. And when I grew up in my family, I was the sensitive one in the family, and it wasn't said with great admiration. And so I felt a bit of shame about that. But what I've come to realize is actually a great gift, because being emotionally sensitive, being an empath, means that you can tune in to other people's feelings and really receive them and really be present with them and really connect with them. Do you feel fulfilled when you're connecting heart to heart with others? For me, I actually get a little bit ratty if I'm not doing sessions with people or workshops, because I miss that heart space, that place of real, deep, open, honest sharing. And, I feel just really honored in sessions when people are telling me about their life experiences and the things that they've gone through. There's something there that really nurtures my soul when I connect with somebody else in this deep place of just honesty and congruence and truth. And that's a beautiful gift that I get. And obviously, I provide the space to others to go there also and nurture them at that level. Are you passionate about your own growth? Are you a spiritual seeker? Are you somebody that's on the path to growing and growing into self-actualization, into being all that you can be? Because the fastest way to grow is to put yourself in service of others, because people will come to you in sessions with the stuff that you either just dealing with or have just dealt with. I'm just laughing because after my first marriage ended, my first wife, she actually met somebody that was 12 years younger than her 3 months after we separated, and she got pregnant to him. And I had a client come to me, a woman who had separated from her husband and got pregnant to a guy that was 10 years younger than her, and she was looking to me to coach her. So I had to open up my heart and be compassionate to her, which wasn't necessarily exactly how I was feeling towards my ex-wife at that time. So, but, the synchronicity of that is just beyond the odds. And so what you'll find when you get into being of service to others is that the blocks that you still got will be presented to you for you to heal as you're going. And that's quite okay. You don't have to have it all together, by the way, before you start working in service of others. If I waited till I had it all together, I still wouldn't be helping others. And I've helped a lot of people over the years, and I'm quite aware that I've still got more work to do. But in the process, I'm being there and being this like beacon or a window or doorway for people to step through and to heal, and I can hold their hand and go with them with that. Are you someone who'd like to make a meaningful way to generate a great income? Okay, so you can. I've created multi six-figure business doing this. We've set ourselves up financially pretty well. And we haven't gone out and done a property development course. What we've done is we've listened to our heart, and we've been true to our heart, and we've practiced discipline, and we've been sensible. And I think that comes from staying in touch with your heart. But we've really landed ourselves in such a wonderful place financially, and breathwork is a great thing that you can do to just work your own hours and generate a really good income from that. Are you designed to live from your heart and inspire the greatness in others? So obviously, when you work as a healer, you need to walk your talk. And if you have a passion to live from a more deep place connected in your heart, then there's nothing like going through the breathwork training and working as a practitioner to really nurture that journey along. So the format for the training is in 2 levels. There's a certificate 3 level and a certificate 4 level. Now, the certificate 3 level is parallel to the accredited course and to the association, the Australian Breathwork Association. They have these 2 levels. We're not an RTO, so we can't actually give you the certificate 3 or certificate 4, but I was on the government committee for 4 years in the early 2000s that actually got breathwork accredited at certificate 3 and certificate 4 levels, and we run our course parallel to the curriculum. Now, at the moment, the RTO is not happening, but when you finish the training, you can register with the Australian Breathwork Association, and you can get professional indemnity insurance, and it's very modest. Registrations, I think it's about $150 to the association, and then it's about $200 a year for the insurance. So it's really, really reasonable, and you can be up and running as a practitioner. So the certificate 3 level in the training involves coming to Passionately Alive 3 times. So if you haven't come to PA yet, it's 3.5 days, deep dive, heart opening experience. It's up here in our retreat centre, and so you need to attend, refresh, and then be a trainee assistant at that level. And then there's 2 practitioner training days, and those days are the Monday and Tuesday after the breathwork training. The Passionately Alive. Just noticed that one of my sticky notes is up on the screen. Never mind. And there's a couple of assignments. Very light on paperwork, so don't stress about that. And I'll make it as easy as I can for you to get that completed. The certificate 4 level then involves attending our heart-centered living program, which is 5 living seminars in the second half of the year. So that's July, August, September, October, November. And all of this is in your prospectus, but I'll just go through it because sometimes it's easier to hear it than read it. There's 5 practitioner training days after each of the modules. On the Monday, after each of the 5 modules, and some people do the Heart Centered Living program just for their own personal growth, and then there'll be people there doing the breathwork practitioner training as well, and they stay on for the extra day, and we talk about the training. The training comes with a fabulously comprehensive manual, and also I'm going to talk about the Thrive Life Coaching program as well, so that's built for you, and it's all incredibly clearly documented, if I can say so myself. Assignments, a couple of assignments from home to show that you've really got a good grasp of the work. And so that's how the whole thing hangs together there. So the certificate 3 level, 3 passionately lives, 2 training days, either after the February or the June PA. You can do either of those. The certificate 4 level is 5 boot camps. This is a deep dive, life transforming process, a journey that where you get to review every aspect of your life and clear the blocks that are stopping you from being happy and in a loving relationship and being successful in your life and feeling good about yourself. So really powerful, deep immersion there. And the focus of Passionately Alive, if you haven't done the workshop yet, is opening your heart and coming alive. And it's designed to help you to boost your health, deepen your relationships, increase your success and happiness. And the motto that we go on here is we connect head to heart. Okay, and so Passionately Alive shows you the 4 steps that you need to go through to connect head to the heart. And what does connecting to your heart look like? Well, it leads into what we call heart-centered living, which is really the next step. And this is where we finish PA on the Sunday afternoon, is connecting to the heart intelligence and accessing the heart qualities, which are here on the left, and the heart practices on the right, which we work through at Passionately Alive. And then we go into them in a lot more depth in the heart-centered living program. Okay, so there's 5 modules in this program: create the life you love, become empowered, live courageously, heart-centered relationships, and awaken spiritually. So I'm just going to go through this very briefly. Time's ticking away there, I can see that. And first module is all about manifesting a life you love. So you need to, create a crystal clear vision for your life, clear the block from receiving goodness, learn how to manifest from the vibration that's in your heart, create wealth. Okay, so as part of the breathwork practitioner training is to handle the money issues, because if you don't do that, then you can't get up and be of service to the world. And too many people are chained to the job they don't like because of their mortgage. You need to handle the money issues so that you can really create a fulfilling career out of working as a breathwork practitioner and aligning your mind, your body, and your heart to achieve what you want. Okay, so each module we focus on different heart qualities there. And somebody I just quickly want to mention is Ron Penrose, our friend. He was a struggling sheep farmer down in the Mallee and worked on a barely viable farm. During the breathwork practitioner training, he started to open up his artistic abilities and reconnect with his love for drawing, and started to do these fine pencil drawings, and that led into him doing a fine arts course. And now he's created his own painting style using a scalpel and generating a massive income from painting. He's just moved off the farm. He's rented a house in the local town, which he's turned into a gallery, and he's making his living off doing his painting and following his passion. Such a wonderful story. And one of the dimensions of this story also is that sometimes people do the breathwork training and then find that it expresses itself in other places. We had another guy who was a senior manager in a training organization, and one of the young lads in that program was killed on a motorbike accident on the way home one evening, and this guy facilitated the grief of the whole group and was able to really nurture the parents and oversee the whole process, even though his line of work had nothing to do with working with emotions. But because he'd done the breathwork practitioner training, he had that skill to be able to nurture and empathize with people and help them through a really difficult time. The second module is the empowerment one, and it's about inner child healing. And that's about growing up and becoming a fully empowered adult. And so we work on the different stages in life, clearing the birth patterns, the struggle in birth, learning to individuate and ending enmeshment and isolation pattern. Enmeshment means losing yourself in others. Isolation means, being obviously isolated, separate. Releasing disapproval syndrome, worrying about what other people think is another developmental stage, and that leads into claiming your own authority and ending mystified parental projections and learning to be happy and productive and get out of drama. The hard qualities: peace, acceptance, gentleness, and compassion. And these two lovely ladies, graduates of the Breathwork Training, Teresa Radcliffe in Muralbark, is now empowering women after domestic violence. And so she's setting up to help women. She's got a lovely website and she's up and running as a practitioner, and she's making a difference in a really important area where there can be a lot of bitterness and people can get stuck in that, being a victim of domestic violence. And Teresa's helping them to find forgiveness and completion and to find empowerment. I think a lot of violence comes from being disempowered on both sides. So she's making a real difference. And Katie Alexander up on the Gold Coast, working with body image and weight loss, really, really blossomed through the training. So the next module, the third module, is living courageously, and this is the manhood and womanhood module, and it's all about claiming your place here on earth. So healing gender shame and honoring gender differences. Okay, so finding out what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman, and honoring those differences instead of competing. And when you get that, and you get, as a man in a supportive group of men, or as a woman in a supportive group of women, you get that environment, you start to get a sense for who you are as a man or as a woman in a beautiful, healing, empowering way. And obviously something that's missing in our culture is this rite of passage ceremony, where we get to experience the honoring of our tribe for being a man or for being a woman. Important in there is clarifying your values and your mission and getting a deeper sense of who you are. We have this lovely rite of passage ceremony you go through, and really the bottom line in this for me, I think, is it helps people to love themselves more as they are for being a man or for being a woman, to love that whole dimension of who you are. Hard qualities: courage, integrity, authenticity. And two people I'd briefly like to introduce you to are Jim and Jean Thomas. They've set up this Save the Tree Kangaroo program in New Guinea. Jim's done a bit of work with us, and Jean's done the Breathwork Practitioner Training, and she just wrote a paper recently, and I noticed that she put this paragraph in there referring to the work that she'd done in the Breathwork Training, because they're over there in the field in New Guinea where the spiders are bigger than a cat. They're called, or bigger than a bird at least, because they're called bird spiders. And they're right out in the backwoods. They have to hike 3 days to get to these villages where they're helping people to farm meat instead of hunting the tree kangaroo. They're getting worldwide acclaim. They got the Australian Geographic Conservation Award in 2013, and they're getting international awards now. And, it's really, for Jean, she's saying she wouldn't be able to do that if she hadn't mastered her own emotions. She's done that through the Breathwork Training. The next module, the fourth module, then, is all about heart-centered relationships, deepening relationship, being all that you are. Okay, so the beauty about heart-centered relationships is it doesn't even require you to be something other than you are. It's about being more of who you are, opening up your heart and bringing that vulnerability and honesty and openness and love into the relationship. Learning to speak up for yourself, reclaiming your voice, learning how to connect heart to heart and do empathetic sharing, communication techniques that we teach in this module, verbal and non-verbal. Non-verbal, really big. And then we do some healing work on uniting love and sexuality. So very, very powerful. Each of these modules, life transforming in itself. Put all 5 together, with the same group of people that come back together every month for 5 months, and you have an amazing container of love and trust and support for people to go really deep and open up and to heal things that there would be no other place that they could do that. The whole container is set with a deep level of respect, and everybody journeys at their own pace and in their own way, which is one of the things that we love about the breath, is that what comes up for anybody in a breathwork session is what they're ready to deal with where they are in their life right now. And so the heart-centered approach, no pushing, no forcing, just very honoring and very gentle and very allowing the natural unfolding to happen. So those are the heart qualities there. And here's two friends of ours, Trevor and Sue. Trevor and Sue came to see me, Sue first, for breathwork sessions because their marriage was on the rocks. She was just about to leave Trevor, and so they came and they started doing sessions together and individually. They actually ended up separating for 6 months. Sue moved into near the school that her daughter was going to. She was in her last year of school, and she hired a house and left Trevor in a family home. And at the end of the year, Trevor left the family home and moved into the rental house, and his brother hired the house there. And they got back together, and in that 6 months that they were separated, they were dating and working on their issues, and they just really dug in and did the work that they needed to do to heal themselves and to open up. And now they both tell me that their relationship and their whole life, in fact, is better than it's ever been, and they just feel so happy and so blessed to share this life with each other. So the fifth module is the spirituality weekend, and we call this radical breakthroughs because it's about awakening to your basic goodness, which is about transcending your ego encapsulation, your me-ness, and instead connecting to your timeless nature. We learn how to dialogue with the divine, so for you to connect in and get some divine guidance back. And then we practice inspired living, which means inspire means to breathe in, incidentally, but it means, living from spirit, living from our heart. And so mystery, wisdom, freedom, grace, love, other qualities there. Just briefly introduce you to Kevin Dellinger, who's a breathwork graduate. He works as a silver celebrant, and he really meets the people that he works with when he does a wedding for them or a ceremony. He really likes to get down there with them and really connect heart to heart with them and get to know them. And he told me that he brings that into his it's not exactly a presentation, or maybe it's a eulogy or whatever. So Kevin's a beautiful man and very spiritual and really, really honoring and connecting, and he's really brought that celebrancy and breathwork together. And he actually works for Villa Maria at the moment and wants to move into full-time breathwork. So he's and his celebrancy. So he's working away at that at the moment. So just briefly, that's the review, Certificate 3 PAs, Certificate 4, those 5 heart-centering modules that we just did, and 5 practitioner training days, attend an assignment. It's residential. You come here for each of those boot camps, those modules, and you stay. We provide all the food and accommodation, so it's a living experience so that you can go real deep into yourself and have no worries, nothing that you have to do, just be here and be present with yourself and really do some deep, deep healing work. We limit the group to 16 people. We're actually happy at 12, but we can expand up to 16. But we kind of say that we're full at 12, but we go to 16. This is a 10-month journey of connecting, and I'm up close and personal with you to make sure that you get the breakthroughs that you need. And the whole package of all of those, so that's 8 workshops and 7 training days and the manuals and everything that goes with it, the whole lot is $15,000. Okay, that's the full price. the beauty of this is you get to grow as a person, you earn good money, you can easily earn $1,000 a week from 10 hours work. So that works out at $200 a session. Sessions are 2 hours. So doing 5 sessions a week would be $1,000. You get to work your own hours, doing what you love, and making a difference in the world. Okay, so you know, as a thank you for being on this webinar, and if you're ready to make today a turning point in your life, then we have a reward for you. And as I said at the start, I'm not asking you to register for the training tonight. What I'm interested in is finding out who's interested in the training and then getting together with you on the phone or in person and having a chat about how this fits into your life and what your aspirations are. So what I would like to encourage you to do is to apply, is to fill in the registration form, and you'll get a lot because the registration form is quite detailed. It will actually give you a lot of clarity about where you are in your life and what's important to you. And so start off by just filling that in, and then at the end, if you your heart's going, yes, I want to step forward and see where this goes, then just email it into me and I'll set up a time to have a chat. Okay? Now, if you register for that, what's today, Thursday, in the next couple of days, let's give you a couple of days, say Sunday afternoon, then you can attend the breathwork training for 10 installments of $14.70, or if you pay up front, it's $13,770. So there's a discount if you would like to do that. That works. If that's a lot for you to come up with, then you could do the installments option. And again, if that installment option is difficult, and that's normally monthly, but if the money is the issue, then please contact us and have a chat, because we don't want the money to be the issue, and we see the money as a logistical thing that we can work around. So just give us a call if the money is the only reason why you wouldn't do the training. And I can promise you, we've had people on all levels of income do the training, and we've worked with them to make it possible. So, yes, and couples get a $1,000 discount. Okay, so we often have couples in the training, so they come through together, and that's a lovely thing to share together. So if I'm speaking your language, all you need to do is to go to eq.net.au. That's our main website. And I just loaded up before the call this little banner here and the little link application form. Click here. So you just need to pop over to eq.net.au, click on the application form link, and that will download the Word document that you can fill in. It's an application form. It's a questionnaire about your life and what's important to you. Fill that in and then send it back to me via email, and then I'll contact you and we can set up a time together. Now, if you do take action in the next couple of days and you decide to go ahead with the training, then there's a couple of bonuses. And the first one is you get the Heart-Centered Living Pack. Now, this is a 10 audio program based on each of the heart qualities. So compassion, they're here. For compassion, for love, gentleness, mystery, grace, courage, happiness, wealth, gratitude. There's a 1 hour teaching on each of these qualities and a half an hour, 20-minute meditation that goes with that. So that's a really comprehensive pack that really helps you to live from your heart. And as well as that, this is available on an online download as MP3s. And so I'll send you the link to be able to access those. And the breathwork training comes with a whole life coaching training as well included in it. And so this is a 3-month program with the 15 sessions all mapped out, exactly what you need to do in every session to give somebody a total life review, to take them through a massive healing process. This is the evolution of 25 years of me doing sessions now, and so I've bundled that all together. There's a coach's manual, that's a handbook. There's a client workbook, which we're putting together. And then there's about 120 page of personalized handouts that you give to your clients. And what I do when people finish the training is I put their name and their phone number on the bottom of the handout, and I print it out as a PDF and I email it to them, and then they can print them out whenever they like, and it's got their contact details on the bottom, and so that just helps you to build your business for that. So you can pay for the breathwork training if you get 7 clients at $2,000. So they do 10 sessions at $200 a session, and that's, you've paid for the training in 7 clients. Okay, so as well as that, when you do the breathwork training, you get the call clearing facilitator training, which is all packaged up, and you can download that, and it's got everything you need to run the call clearing day as a workshop, as a way of enrolling people into your program. And if you want, which you don't have to do, to send people to us from that call clearing event, then we have a thank you payment of $500 per person that comes to Passionately Alive. So you could, and people do this, they pay for the breathwork training by sending people to us from their call clearing days. So that's the summary of all of the bonuses that are available if we hear from you by Sunday afternoon. So as I said, it's limited to 16 people. You put your business hat on this for a second and you just think about it. What you get here is a fulfilling career for less than 1 year at TAFE. If you look at it as a return on investment, it's like how much is a course and what are you likely to get back from it? Well, if you do 5 sessions per week at $2,000, you pay for the training in 14 weeks. That's 7 clients doing 10 sessions. Plus, you can earn $100 easily per person for a call clearing session on the phone, and you could earn easily $500 per group for call clearing group sessions, the workshops that you run, and then you become an affiliate with us as well, and you get $500 for each person that you send on to PA for us. So the top questions that I get is, is this the right time? And the answer to this is, well, you're still on the call. You're here now, and this is in your lab. This is like in your reality, and I've come along tonight to invite you to listen to your heart and believe. You've got a calling to be of service to help the world to open its heart. Then, we'd love to have you with us. And so, there's never the right time. There will always be Uncle Ron's wedding, or I'm building a house, or the kids and this and that. And I can tell you, we've had everybody come to the training in all states in their life. And, constantly comes back to listening to your heart and taking that leap of faith. Finding money can seem like a really big obstacle, I think, too. And, if you look at the return on investment prospectus that you should have all mapped out there, you can go and think about that and look at it. The sums add up. It's not a lot of money actually to get a really viable career. It's actually, less than one of our kids' school fees for the year. And then the third big kind of question that I get is, who am I? Who am I to tell people how they should live their life, because I don't have my life together? And that's what we call therapist shame. And the answer to that is you don't need to be ready. You just need to be keen at the moment, because the whole training is designed to take you through a deep immersion of healing and heart opening and empowerment, so that who you are at the end of the training is naturally healing to be present with. And so we'll give you everything you need. Be confident. When I hand out the manuals, it's not uncommon for people to cry. They read them, they look at them, they can see how well mapped out and supportive it is. They thank me. And you take those with you. You've got those that support you, and we're around. We're a community of open people, and we want to support everybody in growing here. So there's 2 fears. There's sameness and there's the fear of staying the same. And people tend to take action when the fear of staying the same, is bigger than the fear of change, or the pain of being where you are is bigger than the fear of change. So I encourage you, step up. People have been doing it forever. We run referrals. That's how we work, and we only get that business happening because we do such a great job, and there's so much potential here. And we'd love for you to come and join in on this journey. So your next step is to apply for a clarity session. Go to the website at eq.net.au, download the form, fill it in, and send it to me. We'll have a free session, where I'll help you get more clarity about where you are and what you want in your life. Filling the thing in for a starter is going to give you a lot, but I encourage you to take that next step, just one step at a time, and trust your heart, and we'll just see what feels right. And I'd love to have you there with that. We've got, so by the way, I made this slide. Some people might have said if you've seen this slide on other presentations. This is the old one, which I really like. There's boys that are just about 4 years, 5 years old there, and here we are now, bigger than mum, and giving me a bunch of that too. We do have a couple of the breathwork graduates on the call. I think that they're probably still here. So if anybody would like to unmute yourself, who does I see there? Louise is there, and Dawn. Just if you'd like to comment about what was the best thing for you about the training, what's the big outcome that Dawn?
I developed quite a lot. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, you can. Sorry. I personally developed quite a lot of awareness around my own behaviors and patterns, which I'm still working on and developing. I also got a lot of clarity around my own personal goals and where I'm heading in life. I've always had goals set, but to clarity to what the true values around those are. That's what the most my 12 months, a bit more than 12 months in training.
Yeah, and you did the training last year, and I know the training continues to unfold for years actually afterwards. It's still integrating and implementing the shifts that happen. Have you found that yourself?
Absolutely. If life's been for a challenge, it's certainly done that for me, especially in the last 6 months since the house fire. So, but I couldn't fathom, had I not done the training, where I would actually be today. I think I'd still be in the whole story of, how worked up I am, as opposed to looking at it from the glass half full side of things.
Yeah, good on you. Thank you for coming on and on the call and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else there like to have a chat? Is that Jenny May? I see a Jenny there. I know Louise is there. Unless she's gone with the kids there. No, there we go. Hi, Louise.
Hello. Hi. How you going?
Great.
Yeah. I just want to say a big thank you, first of all, to you. I have just completed like Dawn. We're in the same group together. Hello, beautiful Dawn. And I had a really, really magical time. And just as you said, actually, I just reiterate that it's definitely still unfolding in my life, but in a really beautiful way. I think at the very beginning, before I embarked on the course, I thought, this is going to fix everything, and I'll be totally mended, I guess. I think what I've learned is that what it's given me is this huge amount of tools to navigate everyday life, and also some of the bigger sort of parts of my life as well. And it's just, I think, as well as the prospect of still just to complete a couple of things to before I become a practitioner, which I'm really excited about. I think the big thing for me is just really deepened my relationship with me, and then the added bonus of that with my family. And it's just been such a beautiful, graceful journey that's just given me so much gratitude for my life and my growth. Yeah, still moving along.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I know that your relationship with Dan, your husband, has become a lot stronger and a lot more real and a lot more depth to it, and really present and engaged. And with your kids too, I think you've shared about how it changed your mothering too.
Yes, I guess as the kids are growing up, it's been there's been a couple of issues of late, and I think had I not been through the training and just really delved into my heart, I don't think some of them turned out as well as they have with the kids, and some of the things that happened with them lately, and I just feel really blessed that I've had that opportunity and I can help them navigate as well through their lives, which has been a real gift. Yeah, a real gift.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the call and not revealing what you've done and just giving back a little bit to everybody from your own experience. I really
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I fully encourage anyone, if they're thinking about it. It's probably one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Nicholas.
Is that Jenny May there? Do you want to say anything, Jenny? Or anybody else? Hello.
Hi everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak. The biggest thing that I got, my mum passed away when I was 8. So what I got was being able to be people in a safe place. I can be vulnerable and allow myself to grieve. I'm 50, I think. So not being able to grieve back when I was 8, there was no counsellors back then. So I just suppressed all that emotion and just went on with life best way I could, and disconnected from my feelings and created a wall around me. And I also had a lot of anger from that situation of not being able to, not knowing actually was going to die, and then not actually getting complete around that. So the biggest thing is being able to be vulnerable and express my feelings and grieve really deeply and not feel judged or ashamed of it, and just allow myself to just experience the sadness. And a lot of anger came was expressed as well in a safe place. So that's the biggest thing for me. And there's still stuff coming up. There's still emotion coming up. I can feel it now. But being able to do that with loving people around is really great. Thank you.
Yeah, good, thank you. That's beautiful. Yeah, thanks, Jenny. And it's lovely to have your vulnerability there, and I know you got switched off there, that that you also took your relationship to a level of honesty and strength and openness and connecting, kind of follow on from what you shared about being isolated as a child and then coming back to relationships. So on that too. And Kieran, would you like to say anything? I see that you're there too. I guess that's Kieran. I'll put you on the spot. Kieran did the Living program not the practitioner, but he was in the 5 modules. I'm not sure if you can get to the unmute your phone now. Oh, you've got comments, so you must be on your computer. So, yeah, thanks, Amanda. Okay. Um, the thing that stood out for me for what those people just had is the humanness and the realness and the vulnerability and the gratitude that this kind of work attracts. And it's such a beautiful space to experience. As Jenny said, it's so honouring and so safe and supportive. It's just great to be in, and that's what I'm really proud about, and that's for me work is about loving ourselves as we are and having the courage to show up in all of our fullness and to embrace our humanity. And the breath is the catalyst for that transformation for us to clear the blocks, the shame and the guilt and the resentment and the bitterness, just the blocks from what's happened in the past so that we can really open up our heart and come alive and stay youthful in our life and stay presently connected and live our lives really richly. And obviously, the beauty is then you get to help other people discover the same thing. And, the greatest fun in running workshops and doing sessions with people is seeing the lights go on. and people really, they're just blown away by the power of the breath. It seems such a simple, obvious thing, but it really is incredibly powerful. And I think the quality of the presence of the breath has a big effect on the quality of trust and the depth that people can go to. So this training is not much theoretical. It's mostly experiential, and the reason for that is that you need to do your own healing work because you can't take anybody else deeper into their feelings than you've gone yourself. And so that's why the focus is on doing your own healing work, not like a university social working course where they go and they study all the things, but they don't do any of their own healing work, and then they end up projecting their wounded childhood. And I know I'm generalizing here, but I've seen it too many times, fortunately, is going to university information, but not doing the deep dive healing work that actually transforms who you are and opens up your heart so that you can be compassionate and empathetic and really connect with people. And that's what this work is about for me. It's the transformation of who you are. That's the most important thing, because I know that if you've done your own journey work, and that doesn't mean it's finished, it just means that your heart is now open and that you're current and you're more self-aware because you're aware of what your patterns are and what's going on for you. And when you come into a relationship with someone and a healing setting, the quality of your presence is what transforms. And studies have shown that it's a level of trust that a client has in a practitioner that determines 30% of the results right off the scratch, And I, with my clients, that because my heart's open and I'm present with them, that they go deep and there's a process that happens. And that's only happened because of my own journey that I've been on. And so that's the focus of the training, is to help the people in the course to journey along their own healing and transformational process. They can be a brighter light and give back to the world. And I think that's the purpose of all personal growth, is to be of service to the world. And if it just becomes self-centered, then they've missed the point and they actually don't end up back in misery again, because the nature of the ego is misery. And we need to heal our ego and then open up our heart and be a brighter light to shine for others in our life, in our businesses, in our work, and also in our families, in our relationships and our friends. And you become through this training, you take that with you wherever you are. And like that, hired you as a manager in the training organisation. His transformational process, he was able to help those people going through the grief process when one of the guys died on the motorbike. And so that's the invitation. If you're still here on the call, it means you're still interested here to hang around. I'd love to have a chat to you. I encourage you again, go to that website, download the application, fill it in anyway. Even if you're not sure, fill it in and see how it feels when you finish there, and then email it to me. Have a time for chat. It's really nice. It's very low key, just a chat, and I'll look forward to getting to know you and sharing it. And I'm sure that I can point out some things for you that you find very helpful in the session, whether you decide to go on and do the breathwork training or not. I'm happy just to connect you and see where we go. So thank you for joining us here tonight. I noticed that Kim's typed in here. The Heart-Centered Living program for me is an amazing journey of deep heart healing and connecting with others, sharing and opening and trusting to bring myself into a group of people and be loved and accepted for being me. It was an awesome experience, and I highly recommend it. Thanks, Kieran, for adding that in. Does anybody have a question? If you do have any questions that you want to shoot me an email, that's perfectly okay. Thanks, Amanda. Love to connect with you. Looking forward to getting up, and as I said earlier, there's so much need for people to open up their hearts in the world. We see all this kind of horrific things going on, and these are the birthing pains that are present in our humanity right now to evolve us into being more open-hearted and more connected. And we need agents of change that can be that catalyst to heal the pain and transform it into love. So looking forward to getting to know you. Thank you for joining tonight and for your loving presence, especially to the people that have done this in the past. I just sent an email out tonight. I thought that would be nice if anyone was around and able to join us. So, feel very, very blessed and love to you all and look forward to connecting with you soon. So I'm going to finish up the call here and bid you good night.